Welcome to Soulful Conversations, the podcast that highlights stories of individuals sharing various life experiences and challenges. We showcase strength and resilience found in everyday experiences. So get ready to be inspired, informed, and entertained as we dive into topics with wit, wisdom, and a whole lot of soul. This is your space to laugh, learn, and connect with two fabulous women making a difference. So grab your favorite drink, get cozy, and let's dive in together to this soulful conversation with Shar and Miko. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Hello.
Welcome to Soulful Conversation.
Yes, ma'am. I'm here to expose a little bit of soul from my opinion.
Okay, my
My,
beautiful co-host, Miss Miko, can you do our intro?
Absolutely. Today, you guys, of course, I'm Miko DeLeo, my co-host Shar the Star, and we
Hey.
have wonderful Little John, which we should put in quotations. Is really a big John, third power. Anyway,
Right.
joining us to discuss life after the uniform on Soulful Conversations. So we're just going to dive right on into that and what that looks like. So, welcome, Little John, to Soulful Conversations. How
thank
are you?
happy to be here. Ready for all
Thanks.
your questions. I ain't scared.
You
All
ain't? You
right.
sure?
I'm ready. Bring it.
Well, let's dive right on in.
All right.
So, what does life after the military look like for you? And what branch were you in? Let's start there.
I did approximately almost 13 years in the United States Army for this government or this country. Life after the military. Um, it's kind of weird, really. I grew up in an environment where my mother, she wanted to be a drill sergeant. Her first job at 18 years old, she wanted to be a drill in the army. So she was already very strict and disciplined. So going into the military, there wasn't much. I already knew how to do house full of corners and be very detailed in what I was doing before I went in the military. Getting out of the military, kind of a culture shock when it comes to. I went in the military at 18, so I never really had a job in civilian world. Civilian world is very undisciplined, unorganized. It's a little bit harder. Being in the military, when you say you're chain of command, somebody who was above you knew your job. They did what you was doing. They knew it. In the civilian world, a lot of times it's who you know, how they got a job, your manager. Like currently, right now, I work. My next two supervisors above me don't know my job. They're
Interesting.
Yeah, that's
they want
typical.
they tell me what to do and request this and that, but they've never done my job. Uh,
Interesting.
there's about 1,100 people in my company. The only other two people that knew more or equal to me in my current position, which is basically an engineer and test technician for the semiconductor company, they both quit last August within a week of each other. So there is nobody above me that knows more in my present company and position than I do. So it's kind of hands off. Most people call me Mr. Wells. I am fully self governed in most cases. Um, the
What
military,
would you prefer, Mr. Wells? What would you prefer to be called? Officer Wells?
nah, Little John is fine. If you're
At
not,
work, even?
yeah, if you're not going to be friendly, we could work on other things. But Little John is fine.
Mm.
Okay. Even for strangers, it sounds like a more personal family given name.
Yeah, but Little John is definitely personal for people that know me, like my little cousins. They know me as Little John. Um,
Yes.
the
That
civilian world right now for me is it's different. When I was 30 years old, I had a list of about maybe 40, 50 things that would irritate me, upset me, downright piss me. My next birthday, I would be 65. This is
oh
what
my word. Where's
I
the time
like.
gone?
Happy
I don't.
birthday.
So I have a list of only about 5 things now that piss me off. At this point in my life, I truly understand what I don't care means.
Mm.
Hmm.
I've said it all my life, but I know what it means now.
Now you walk in it.
Every day.
Okay.
I don't necessarily say I don't care. Is this a? Can I say what I want to say?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Please
You're
and thank you.
55.
I don't
You
care.
don't care.
I say I, and then everybody around me knows the rest of it. I don't give a fuck.
Oh,
All I say, I. When somebody say
you
something,
waited till you became 65 to say the F bomb.
I'm a
All
different.
my life, you've been saying flubbergasted or flippin' floppy
Well,
or
yeah, when I was
bullwacky
Elementary.
when I
and
Elementary.
bullwacky.
yeah, no, when I was 22, it was bullwacky. That was the best I could do. But things have changed. Life has changed. I'm a
Life be lifing.
kids. I'm a grandfather of 9, so things have changed just a little bit, and I have less tolerance for things. Things have changed.
All
Um,
right.
my wife Michelle told me about you guys and you being online and you guys expressing life experiences, that kind of things, and your opinion and views.
Mm-hmm.
And since your older brother, my older cousin, passed, that left me, as far as this generation, I'm the oldest male.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So I thought I might give a point of view on a few things from the oldest male of our generation in the family.
So drop some mad science, son. What we want to talk about?
Well, what I want to talk about is more or less um who's in the
Tell him to be quiet.
who's that?
That's background.
Going.
Oh, okay.
It's our next door neighbor.
Oh, they're having a moment. Okay.
Yeah.
Uh,
Thin walls here.
I have a tendency of I'm I'm not the most religious person. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not carrying around the Bible every day, and I'm not every other word isn't thank you, Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
But I believe in a higher power. I find myself a lot of times having conversations with younger men, more or less about their future, personal
Mm-hmm.
and professional. I normally start off that conversation by asking a question that applies to anybody, really.
That's a lot of background
Yeah, it is. It's really
influence.
a moment. Um, I asked basically, where do you see yourself 10 years from now?
Mm-hmm.
Where do you want to be? And I will say professionally and personally. Since we're in a work environment, we normally focus on the professional side. Where do you see yourself in 10 years? If I ask 10 people that, 9 of them definitely going to come back with, I don't know. They haven't a clue. They haven't no idea. So then I asked them a follow up question. That follow up question would be, what job would you do 50 hours a week for free? You'll never be late, always on time, happy to be there. What job is that you free?
Was about to be no talking to. We got the nigga. I think I was the one trying to negotiate.
Is that my brother?
No.
It sure sounds like it. But
It's just another passionate neighbor. I am here in Las Vegas, so the city that never sleeps. Everyone has
somebody,
a story to tell, and they get really excited to tell their story. So, yeah, we just have to pep yours up a bit
oh,
because they're just
I'll try and focus.
trying to take over, via the walls. So
Yeah, sound
So,
like you need to go to sleep, child.
so
that
I
part.
would ask, what is that passion? What would you do for free? 90% of the time, the person number one would say they don't know. They have to take a few minutes to think about it. What is your passion? What I know in my short time on this little planet, your passion is something that you would do for free, and you will be successful at it. Most of the time, people, when I say you do it for free, their response is, well, I can't make no money at it. No, the reality is you haven't applied yourself to do it. Like,
Okay.
for example, the last guy that I talked to, he was saying that he wanted to be a professional soccer player. I said, okay, um, why aren't you doing it? Well, I can't make no money at it. And then I asked a very important question. You might have heard this phrase before a long time ago that says, birds of a feather flock together.
Okay.
Probably about 5, 6 years old when I heard it. It mean nothing, don't know what it means. But now it means basically pimps hang out with pimps.
Uh-oh.
Hookers hang out with hookers.
Come on, baby.
Doctors hang out with doctors. Lawyers hang out with lawyers, and so on and so on. So when you have this passion of a career that you want to do, birds of a feather flock together. You should be hanging out. If you want to be a soccer player, you should be hanging out with soccer players.
So what got you on this path to wanting to make sure that people are finding their passion?
I have no idea. Um,
Well, you have 7 children. So were they any of your inspiration to make sure that they were doing what they were passionate about? Hell no.
Did you say hell no? Tell
And
to
that's
the
why I
no,
said
no.
hell no.
What is it? Since you guys are mothers, you are quite aware of this. What is it that you can say 1, 2, 3 to your kids and they don't know what it means? But a total stranger can walk up to them and say 1, 2, 3, and it's like a epiphany. They understand everything about it now.
They all do that.
Your own kids don't listen to you. I have 7 kids. At one point, I have told all of them they need to go in the military, especially if they want to pursue college, because it's the only place that you can get an education, experience, your medical, and get paid all at the same time. My youngest is the only one that went in the military.
So wait a minute. There's no student loans if you're in the military?
No, they pay for it.
So you get to go to school for free?
Can you hear me now?
Can you hear me?
Yes, they go for free. As long as you're in the military and you want to go out to get a degree, the military will pay for it. It's for free. It's the only place I know that you can get a degree for free unless mom and daddy got the money.
Right.
Yeah. It's the easiest way to get your degree. Now, I must admit, the military ain't for everybody, but how many people really like the job they're doing right now anyway?
Nobody.
And everything is transitional. Nothing is permanent. Not even the kids in our life. They're transition. They come in, they come out. And from a religious standpoint, you might be at level A today, and there are certain people around you at level A. When God starts to move you or intervene to you to go to level B, some of those people at A may not go with you. He will move those people out your way. Some people from a religious standpoint might say that God opens doors, but they don't realize God closes doors too.
Yeah. And it's never a loss. It's never the closure is he's trying to prepare you for the next level, and he's forcing you to do so. So people resist change for various reasons. The main one is fear, just fear of the unknown, uncertainty.
Fear.
So with that knowledge, what did you want to share with the young people now?
I wanted to share with the young people that they have the power. All they got to do is have the desire. And the simplest way is you're going to be spinning your wheels and standing in the same spot forever if you don't have a goal.
Okay.
One of the analogies that I use for them, I said, do you drive a car? They say, yeah. I said, show me your keys. I said, put your keys right here. Now, let me ask you a question. How many times do you pick up the keys to your car and you don't know where you're going? Every time you pick your car keys up, you're going somewhere. You know where you're going. Otherwise, you'd be driving around in a circle. How many times you drive around in a circle all day? You don't do that. But when it comes to your life, are you picking up the keys and know where you're going?
So is there a target age of young men that you is this mentorship or is it something like life coach? Or is that pretty
More
much the
like
same
a life
thing?
coach type deal, and there's no age limit on it because as long as you plan on living another 10 years, you should have a goal to where
Mhm.
you want to go, what you want to do 10 years from now. So it's all ages, and it's definitely a life coach kind of thing. Most
So do you
people,
go
yeah,
ahead. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say most people are spinning their wheels in a bad job or a bad position, bad relationship, because they have no idea what they want. They have no goal. Where are they going? They have no
So
idea.
what's beautiful about what you're saying, and I find this to be a full life moment, full 360 moment, as I like to call this. Your nephew, Nate Wells, is in this same particular field, trying to help fathers get on the path. The two of you need to combine that as the younger generation and the older generation, as the more mature, same fatherhood, same path, trying to save the next up and coming men from going down the paths that you both experienced, which weren't bad, but definitely two different routes you both took. So just to hear you both, put your perspectives together. He learned from what he learned from the School of Hard Knocks. You went into the military, both disciplined areas of life where you had to take orders, and now you come out with all this insight. So just putting the two together, I think that would be a great thing for both of you guys to
Mhm.
collab on. I know you're in Arizona and he's in Seattle, but at the same token, things like this, the soulful conversation, we're bridging gaps with,
You guys,
trying to see a need and, what's missing. We're really trying to, have these conversations about what's needed and what's missing.
I think most people are missing because they don't understand they have the power. And too many other people are too busy blaming somebody else for their issues.
Well,
Um,
that's a whole nother segment. I think we had a psychiatrist therapist on the show
Yeah, we
to
did.
well, it's
dive into that.
because people don't realize that they have
I
the.
don't know nothing about that.
Um, there was a little story out in the middle of this I would tell about a preacher, the preacher with the mirror. Now, most people that are semi-religious, they're like a preacher with a mirror. Everywhere they go, this preacher has the mirror. Every time they see the preacher, he's got a mirror. But nobody would ask him why he's carrying a mirror. But you know how little kids are, 4 or 5 years old. They ain't got no filters. They were asked. So they asked him, why you got the mirror? He said, the first time I look in the mirror, I see the source of all my problems. I
Right.
look in the mirror twice a day. The second time I look in the mirror, I see the source to all my problems. It's all about introspective and what do you want out of life? If you have no idea, most of them are idle. I would say most of your crime in this country is from 18 to 25. Why are they committing a crime? Because they have no idea, no plan. Well, I bet you most of your criminals didn't wake up today saying I'm going to do a crime. It was maybe sometimes just an opportunity. They saw it there and they did it, you know, but they had no.
Would you be open to doing workshops and mentorship, because this is needed? I
Oh
mean,
yeah, oh
this
yeah.
this is too much for you to just sit on
Well,
and
that's
just it's bottle it up.
that's
So,
why I got here, and I'm like, I have had this conversation with 30 or 40 young men,
Hmm.
mhm,
and I don't know where they are now because when I had the conversation with them, most of them realized that the job they were doing was not the path they were supposed to be on. They quit.
okay.
They actually quit the company that we was working for and started pursuing their path. So I'm like, there's men in our family. There are women in our family. This is not just a men thing. Everybody needs to know where you want to be at 10 years from now. What is your focus? What is your passion? And once you identify what you want to do, where you want to go, now we can start building that path. How do you do it? Where do you want to be at 10 years from now? Break it down to 5. What you need to be doing at 5 years to hit that 10-year goal, 2.5 years, 18 months, a year from now. Eventually, you break it down to this morning. Did
Yeah,
you do
I would need smaller chunks. I can't see past.
well? But you could write it down and have the path. But now you know, in order to be where you want to be at 10 years from now, you need to start today.
Mhm.
What do you need to be doing tomorrow to make 10 years happen?
Okay.
And you build from there. One of the other things is being around like-minded people, birds of a feather. You got to get around the same people that want the same goal, the same dream as you. A lot of it boils down to who you are, who you want to be. A lot of them are clueless. They don't know, and nobody asked them.
There you go.
Mhm.
There you go. There you that is it in a nutshell. Nobody asked them. My mom said the most astounding thing to me when I was little. She
What'd
was
she say?
well, as I got older, she said, well, I didn't know I was supposed to talk to you. I didn't know I was supposed to ask you questions.
But that's
My
generation.
mouth dropped like,
Can you think that Grandpa and Evelyn took the time to ask her?
No.
It, it's
no.
almost like finance. Your mom is going to teach you how to do a lot, how to eat with a fork and spoon at the table, wash your body, a lot of things. But the reality is, what your parents don't teach you sometimes is what they didn't know.
Yeah.
It's
Clearly, because her response was, well, nobody ever asked me. Nobody talked to me. So I didn't know I was supposed to ask you
I'm
anything
willing.
or talk to you about anything.
Half the people in our family under the age of 25, if they didn't go to college, the one simple reason why they didn't go to college, nobody asked them. Nobody
Mm.
asked them, and nobody put it in their head, are you going to college? It never was thought about, talked about. And there's a lot of things in life that should be talked about. A lot.
Well, you know what, we was talking about that pimping and that gangster shit. So, and that's why everybody went down that pimping and that gangster shit, man.
And you know, it's kind of weird when you say that pimp gangster shit. Her brother, Jeff, why did I go in the military? Out of me, Jeff, Nay, and Melvin, I would say at 18, I was the dumbest out of the four. I was the dumbest one. I was the big.
Why? Because
I
you
was,
went to the military?
well, no, not because I went in the military, because their personalities was a little bit more outgoing than mine at that time. They talked and walked like they knew what they were going to do. I was a follower. At that moment in life, I was a follower.
So they were more advanced in the streets already. Is that what you're saying?
Streets, life, general. Me and comparing to them, Jeff, I went in the military because of Jeff. Jeff made the decision to go. He thought he had a plan and this and that. And I'm like, monkey see, monkey do.
And then what makes sense about that is because he had a father who went in the military.
I, I,
So
I
even if
broke
they
out.
didn't have the conversation, he already had somebody that he knew who went in the military.
Yeah,
So he had something to follow.
I had no idea why Jeff went in the military. With the same age, was at the same school. I just followed what he did. We was
OD Jr. went to the military and OD went to the military.
Yeah,
Both
that's
of
what I
them.
was saying. Yeah, he had
didn't know.
family members that already were there.
We were supposed to win in the buddy program. We were supposed to go in at same day, the whole 9 yards. When the date came down for us to go in, Jeff decided, hey, I'm gonna party the rest of the summer. I was too scared to tell the recruiter I was gonna do that. So he looked at our scores. Jeff was like gonna go artillery. He looked at my scores and said, man, you could probably do something different. You don't have to go artillery because Jeff ain't coming right now. He put me in computers.
Okay.
I went into military 7 days after high school.
And you've been in computers for how long now?
I've been a computer tech or an engineering test tech in electronics for 47 years.
Wow.
That's a long time. How long
Yeah.
you been married?
We've been married, or let's say I've been married this time for 21 years. The last
Wow.
time, years,
You said 17?
21. Last
Your
time,
first marriage was how
11.
many years? 11?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so been there, saw that, done that. But it's nobody. If nobody asks you the right question, you'll be surprised. And I just feel people need to ask yourself where you want to go. And I'm about being happy. When you're doing a job you enjoy, you'll be happy. But you
Yeah.
have to be honest with yourself and face the music. When it comes to boys, like the last one I talked to that's semi-family was my youngest daughter's baby daddy.
So, do you have plans to open up a nonprofit organization?
No, but I can support one.
Yeah.
I can support one. I would love. The only thing that I know for sure, my retirement is like a year or two away, maybe. The only thing I know for sure that leads me in this direction a little bit was when I was a basketball coach. And I was always talking to the young ones. And I was talking about using basketball as a tool to get where you want to go, not the end of the road. It was just a tool.
Right.
I would love to be sitting in a classroom with 20, 30 people and love to ask them, where do you want to be 10 years from now?
Well, put your plan in motion, buddy.
Yep. And develop that.
Develop your plan.
Yep.
And execute.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It even applies to you guys. It doesn't mean you're not on the path that you want to be on, but you should have a goal 10 years from now with this podcast.
Retirement. Absolutely.
Where do you want to be?
Retired.
And retire is something that's a different animal altogether.
Mm-hmm.
Because you have worked hard to get there, you'd be surprised how bored you'll be after you get there.
I have so many things to do.
For real.
I do.
I just could not imagine not having a full day.
Full day.
A full day of MEKO.
Thank you. SHAR.
The way things
those out, 4 letters alone. SHAR MEKO.
Just that period.
We got more planning to do, but Michelle probably will retire in October.
Nice.
Awesome.
Yes. High five up top.
Whoop whoop.
Brown.
Yeah. So just in wrapping up, what would you like to leave us with as your legacy after we've interviewed the great Little John, the last of the Mohegans, the last of the dying breed?
What I wish you guys would take with this is spread the word. Come talk to me. If you want to get your future going where you want, I ain't gonna have all the answers, but I can sure in the hell help you kickstart it in the right direction.
Okay. So you want to do webinars? You want to do video chats? You want to do Zoom calls? How can anyone reach you that would need mentorship?
Anytime that you want to bring them online on your show, give me a ringy dingy. I'll pick up.
Okay. It's not always going to be with us. So.
Right. So do you want to share your email address or?
Yeah, you can share my email address. That's fine.
Because we're Soulful Conversations. So this was about you more than so about
us. Yeah, I'm not. You should ask more questions about me then, because this is about, I have a very high passion for helping people get on the right path.
Well, you answered your questions and asked them at the same time. So we were just here for you.
Okay.
So we found out what you're passionate about. We know your background as far as military and being shy and an introvert, things like that. We know you have 7 children. We know you're married and you're very passionate about the next generation being on their pursuit of their passions and what influences them. So that was our soulful conversation. We got into the mind of the great Little John.
And I got more. That was a little bit. That was just a little bit.
Of course.
That was a sample.
That was a sample. Now you need to get the book together and go from your earliest memory and start a memoir. Maybe. Because I was telling my clients today, I said, we're not promised tomorrow.
No.
Everybody think we have 30, 40, 80 tomorrows to come.
Nope.
When all we have is today.
Today
is the gift. That's why it's called the present. The present. It's a gift from God, the present. He gave it to us to be in the here and now and discuss these things. So who knows where you'll touch, but definitely linking up with your nephew. He's on the financial side, the father side. You guys would be surprised how much you have in common. So I would start there, since he's the one that's out in the forefront and wants his message out.
Okay, no problem. I can
What
do
else? What else would you suggest, co-host?
You know, what is your actual question? Suggest to me as far as what? What are you asking me?
I'm talking about our guest here.
I
What else would
understand
you suggest to our guest here, or if you have any suggestions?
I don't have any suggestions.
Do you have any closing arguments then?
No closing arguments, huh?
Yeah.
Starting to look like
She
do.
is her mother. Grumpy little sarcastic little lady and all. That's her mother reincarnated.
good to go.
Yes.
Well, thank you for coming on Soulful Conversations,
Yes,
Little
ma'am.
John. We really appreciate you coming on and sharing
For having
for having us and letting us know what's going down with your passions. We love it.
no problem.
Support it.
Absolutely.
Give me a ringy dingy.
Absolutely. And I see you have your Just Hooping shirt on, so we'll definitely
I'm supporting my babies.
we're
Reppin',
definitely
Just
supporting
Hooping,
the Just Hooping movement as well. So
where can you get the merch? Where can you get the merch? Do you know what's their
Oh, call them people. I ain't called them people.
you acting like a senior citizen.
Yeah.
But obviously it's justhooping.com.
Okay.
I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, clearly. So you'll be more prepared next time.
I don't
You have a gamut of info, but not the right info.
Right.
My niece says senior. There's a lot of things that say senior. I don't know what to tell you.
Those glasses say senior Bootsy Collins. And let the funk be with you, baby.
Yeah.
I'd rather be with you.
The funk, baby. Yes. So we love you. We thank you for joining us on Soulful Conversations. Catch us on all your social media channels. And yeah, that was it. This was great.
Yes, ma'am.
Love you both. And till the next time. Life gonna keep lifing. So we're gonna keep having these soulful conversations.
Anytime.
Yeah.
Anytime you want an older Black man opinion, let me know.
Absolutely.
Okay, Grandpa, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right.
Bye.
Love you. Bye.
Bye-bye now.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Soulful Conversation. We hope you enjoyed tonight's Soulful Conversation. Be sure to stay connected with us during the week through our weekly podcast on Spotify, our YouTube channel, Patreon, and social media. And don't forget to send in those soulful requests to be heard on the podcast at info@soulful-conversation.com.